Hello. So it's the third attempt today to not make a live stream but help myself. Each time I've gone to make a live stream today, it's like I'm in a bit of a pickle, and this is where I can see a live stream helping. First attempts have been like a last minute rethink by my mental health. Whereas this time I think I should have a better chance of at least finishing myself the live stream. I've not been able to the first two times. I've been beaten since the moment I woke up, and in a way that's good, because I woke up and I thought I was remotely strong, like remotely happy, like I had a life. I'm not meaning to make it sound depressing, but there's so much spite in me and hatred in me towards my life and my mental health. It's going to sound like that. And ultimately I'm just a bit desolate at the moment from today's happenings, and I've just realised this is me. This is like more accurate to where I am on a mental level, emotional level, physical level than when I was when I woke up. But I can't deny that moment when I wake up, I feel physically better. And then life gets to me and I end up like this, and I remember I live life by life, and what I mean by that is I don't try. My mental health really makes it clear, don't even try this, and that is, don't live life on momentum. If I was to get up today and feel like the energy of the past few weeks, and let's try and put an end to the energy of the last few weeks and make a break for it, and do this, do that, do the other, which I've been prevented. And what's been proven to me is to act upon reality. So to assess my life over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, and say to myself, where am I likely to be today? And I find myself here now, and I'm like, well, this is a more accurate reflection of where I am. And I'm still being beaten. It's like the pressure is insane. It's like I won't go into it too much because I get bored of my own life. But for a split second it was like, yeah, you know what, I can't push away some spiritual discussion that I had to talk about. It just lift the mood, and I'm here and I'm in the moment, and I'm being beaten by my mental health, and it's PTSD. It's PTSD. It's the shock and the trauma. It's all there, and it wants me to get on and do stuff and forget about the PTSD if I'm constantly busy. But then it doesn't let me get busy because I'm autistic and I need to do things a certain way, and it won't let me do them a certain way. So I just sit there looking at my life thinking, right, I could do that, but yeah, to do that I've got to get ready, and to get ready I've got to be a bit autistic because I'm a bit autistic. I crumble at this point because it's like my mental health just and I really do compartmentalise a lot more than just my mental health into when I say my mental health. I'm talking about reality, I'm talking about spirituality, I'm talking about my physical body, I'm talking about my energy body. Not so much my emotional body, actually, because that died a long time ago accurately. And any emotion I come up, I just try to be very cool and calm to. Sexually, I'm dead. And mentally, I'm being beaten. But because I'm not really getting any help from anybody in any area, I'm getting some help from the GP, I am. But it's a bit underwhelming, too little, too late, in truth. And I don't mind putting them down a little bit, despite their pleasantries every time, and the recent help I've been getting, at least from the last doctor. And because I'm not getting any direct help, it's all on me. And because the one label I've got put on me that this is the problem, mental health disorder, I'm like, you know what, actually I think I look at the world accurately, more accurately than a lot. But I've got a physical health problem here, I've got an energy health problem here, can you help me with those? No, it's your mental health, mate. Sorry, I can't deal with the way I just sounded. It's your mental health, sir. And for that reason, I'm a bit blasé to fucking life in the first instance. I'm a bit blasé to life in the first instance when that's the way I am. Herded into a compartment by society, and that's the place where I found myself. But in honesty, it's spirituality first. In honesty, it's reality first. In honesty, it's the collective psychosis first, which is you all, us all. The silence that goes into your behaviour and actions when you hear my words and you know their truth. But I don't understand the collective psychosis, which is that process in its entirety. There's a decision, there's a reason behind your action or inaction, and that I don't know. I can only hazard a guess at. So because you look like a human being and you sound like a human being, if I could smell, I'm sure you would smell like a human being too. I'm not trying to be funny. I persist and I try to break through to some part of you, whether it be your mind, your heart, your soul. Feed it to the energy field, and let it seep through to your consciousness slowly. And hopefully some of that could dislodge some of that ice cold emotion in you. And because you look like a human being, maybe you still function like it on some level, even though you're solid beyond anything I can comprehend. And that is, as I said, the constant ridiculousness of the people I meet in my life and the way they're willing to treat me. It's like that bulb advert. Have you seen it? It's an energy company. They're a new energy company. They're only green or something, even though they're pink in their logo and colour. But on one of the adverts, it's a couple unicorns, and they're like, well, what should we do? What should we do? And they're like, I can't remember, I'm paraphrasing the script, and it's like, what happens is they say, we'll only show ourselves to bulb customers. So in other words, they start showing themselves to all bulbs customers, and they start freaking out because they're seeing a fucking unicorn in front of them. There's a bit like that with reality for me at the moment. And the people within it are all coming out of the woodwork, showing themselves as unicorns, spiritual beings. And the thing is, it's not cartoon, it's a fucking horror movie from my side. There's a filter in between this cartoon for you all and the reception from my side. Because on my side, what's happening is I'm seeing vampires come out of the woodwork and saying, we know the suffering you're going through on a daily basis, Andreas. We know that it's because spirituality is killing you. And we're spiritual all of a sudden when you've been dead, hiding away for years. And I've been trying to reach you on a spiritual level for years and years. But now I'm socially awkward. Now I'm autistic. And now on top of all of that, you want to come out the woodwork and claim your spirituality. Well, how do I give you a spiritual slap back? Because that was a spiritual punch in the face you just gave me. And more people coming out the woodwork saying they're unicorns. Here, Andreas, accept your pain, accept your pain, accept your pain. Your spiritual pain, your pain about reality at its very core. Accept that pain. That's what everybody's saying to me. A little bit of EMDR therapy, you know, just shock therapy on an emotional level. So let's cut the chase. I was going to talk about something else, but let's talk about this. And that is to say, well, what's the game? What are you trying to say to me? You're all coming out the woodworks, hiding your spirituality, and only showing me in such a way that it hurts, that it doesn't make sense, when I'm not a bulb customer in the first place. And if I was, and that was the deal, I'd leave for the most polluting fucking energy company out there, just to shove it up bulb's ass. And my mental health keeps trying to make this sound funny, but please don't hear any humour in my tone. I am deadly serious. I don't use analogies, and maybe that's what it is. My sense is coming back to me as in normality as Andreas, and I'm like, what am I doing with this weird thing, making an analogy? Oh, it must be funny. My brain's being wired wrong, but there's no humour in what I say. I'll have to stop analogies if that's the case. I was just becoming okay at them. I don't really care. They're not worth it that much to fucking have a humorous tone overlaid your serious message. If that's not a punch in the face as well. Does anybody laugh when they hear someone with Tourette's swearing and everything? People do, don't they? It's a similar situation, and I hate to compare my condition to any other condition, but it went through my mind and I'm still learning how to deal with it. Yeah, and that's it. I want to remember the name of the title so I can maybe touch on what I'd planned to speak about originally. I'm really struggling. I was hoping to be able to have a couple of ideas to discuss now, to just talk through the pain, to talk through the discomfort, ground myself a little bit, but there's no space in the immediate moment to have a think about what I can speak. And I'm just such an erratic mess. I'm trying trying not to show myself, you know. Maybe that's what I'll do, is 15 minutes now, maybe allow myself 2-3 minutes to just show myself to the world on camera how much of a fucking mess I am, so I can just relax. And then from minute 18, after I've allowed myself to relax for 3 minutes, I allow myself a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, because ordinarily it might take me 30 seconds to have a think, but because I'm such a mess and I'm just coming out of shock, and because I've not been able to think in a while, it might take me a minute and a half this time, so I'll give myself 2 minutes. So what I'm saying is, from when I say now, for 5 minutes I'm going to be a mess, then I'm going to have a think, and then I'm just going to carry on speaking. Can you imagine the amount of people I believe are watching this? If you've got a heart to watch this, you won't have a heart to watch the next few minutes. I have to do it. It's my own healing, and I just wait for the day when I become a meme, you know, I get taken the piss out of and made a mockery of my mental health. Some 10-year-old finds me screaming on a video and thinks it's fucking hilarious, and before I know it, I'm all over the internet being taken the piss out of because I look at that fucking mad, scary bearded guy. He's insane. What the fuck is he doing screaming? Doesn't he know etiquette? This is how we teach etiquette. But in a way, there'll be positives that come from that. Remembering that is ultimately where it's at. So there shouldn't be anything to fear there. So now, So that's 3 minutes, and I'm going to give myself a couple minutes just to have a think what to talk about. Might be sooner. Okay, I know what I'm going to talk about, and that is, and I'm going to give a context as to why I'm going to talk about it, and really take my time with what I'm saying, because I can't continue trying to, I don't know what's happened. It's like I've got nervous about making live streams, and it's only really, I think it's the ego from the boat, you know. Like, I've got a boat, I'm going to be fixing it up, I'm going to be repairing it. Look at me, I'm doing DIY. And it was like I said, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm able to do. And it's been a slow, humiliating defeat as to how disabled I really am, because what I thought last year, and I'm going off on a tangent to what I want to say in the first place, so we'll see where we get to, but last year I allowed myself to find a way to live, and I used the money from my dad's inheritance to allow the space for it, and that was to just cater to my disability and live by my disability to the extent that I understand life and it's fair to live life out in this world. Well, it's what I understood of it at the time. And this year is, but at the same time, within that, what I'd created was working. And I was always of the awareness that should I need to, if I had to do something like this boat project, I'd be able to do it. And I was honest with myself, so I knew I should be able to do it there and thereabouts if I really had to push it. But either I can't remember accurately enough, and I mean, in the first instance, the wisest thing would have been never to have attempted it. I wouldn't have attempted it. It would have been too much of a risk. But I was of the awareness that I should have been able to do it around that time. That's my thinking. Now it's just come back to me. I'm kidding myself totally. What's happened is I relapsed even more in hospital. The experience wasn't pleasant. The medication affected my sleep. So on top of the bad experience and the stress from hospital, the side effects from the medication in the first instance, I've had sleep taken away from me on top of that. So it's been a massive step down in energy I've had to deal with my mental health. At the same time, I found myself in a position whereby I needed to find new accommodation, and the only thing that made sense, the only thing that was realistic, was to buy a boat and see if I can do it up. And knowing what I've just expressed to you then, at least in the back of my mind, I must have said on a conscious level, unconscious level, I don't remember, right, the only way I can do this is by just lying to myself and just getting on and telling myself, look, focus, try everything you've ever known to be positive and all of that, and if life is fair, it should allow you the miracle to get the boat done, even though life hasn't been fair. And I gave it that attitude, and when I was making live streams, it was all with that attitude. Plus, I've had to accept, or I'm still trying to accept, losing my home, and not only on top of that losing my home, but being evicted from my current home, which I'm overstaying in. And it's only now, you know, I've been making the live streams all this time, and I've been open and honest saying over the past week or so, just like, things are really shit. I'm having to put my feet up when I should be working. This is where I'm at. And only now am I being able to remember, you know, it doesn't matter for shit what I say on live stream. Nobody fucking listens. Or if they do, it's incomprehensible to me on what level they listen at. My autism stops there, and I'm like, oh, okay, 8 views, yeah, just, if I got 30 views, maybe someone listens, but 8 views, just compartmentalise it. I'm not being arrogant, it's just the way I have to be within my mental health and my autism, and an ability to communicate at all. I'm flippant with facts. Flippant, like I'll be lazy with the finality, like I just expressed for that instance. Otherwise I'll be there like, I'll try and be too precise. So I'm flippant, I have to be. So nobody listens to these videos, even though I'm grateful more than anybody could ever know for those 8 views, when I get 8 views. When I'm extremely grateful that either way, even if it's for 2 seconds, someone's clicked on the video. And yeah, I've got nothing to hide anymore. The last few videos have been insane. I've not made sense on 1 or 2 of them. I've said at least on one occasion something I wish I didn't say, but I've left it up. So my character's been put through the mud again, and now I'm like, actually, what does it matter? And now I'm finding that space to say, I'm going to take 3 minutes to look like a mess and then 2 minutes to have a think about what I'm going to talk about. And I feel a million times better for it. My speed is like instantly reducing, and it's still very, very fast because my larynx, I've got I don't know what I've got, but something with my larynx, back of my throat going on. So there's a lot of pressure there, and I'm still managing to slow down. So it's done me the world of good, but yeah, it's taken me to that to for reality to sort itself out. the way it's been the past few days, there's no chance I've got of doing a thing, let alone finishing the boat. And nothing's out of the ordinary. My mental health hasn't been that bad. There are elements that are positive and good to be taken out of it. So I've got really no chance. I'm just waiting for life to sort itself out. Because it's been like my mental health hasn't taken a break for ages. It's been relentless. And I can't live. And it's like life started becoming unfair about a year and a half ago. Like, I mean, I always live life in sincerity. Like, if I really ask for the most humblest of life, and just put all my energy into that, don't ask for anything more. You know, don't be afraid to ask for anything more, but don't ever expect anything more than the most humble of life. That's essentially sincerity. And life always came when I really need. It was like through those hard times I always had this backup card to say, get out of jail card to say, right, I trade my sincerity right now for something to change, for an improvement to the circumstances. And it would always come through. But I've been screaming out to sincerity for a year and a half, and it is not been coming through at all. So something is the fuck up with life. At least I'm having to re-establish my communication with life, because it's not working the way I understood it all this time, and that's what's going on. I am having to change. I'm having to think, I'm having to adapt myself to this new unfairness, and I don't know what to do, because there's just nothing but more suffering in my future if this is the current. And I've got no awareness how to rise above it. I'm not getting the help and support I should be getting. And all I can see is just like real intense suffering as a result of life being unfair, or this change, and me not being able to. I guess I try to be as holistic and as honest as possible. And the belief in reality, the sureness in spirituality as our collective shared past is unparalleled. It has more grounding than science. When you understand, I've said it a few times on camera, science is based upon a theory. And spirituality is our past. From what I understand of spirituality, it applies here, the other side of the universe, and everywhere in between. At the moment, the science that we understand only applies down here. So spirituality is a far more comprehensive, more grounded more certain reality than science. And when you start to understand the system, and how many scientists will back their funders and follow their funders, and big pharma and doctors, and that's all science. The means to heal the people is based upon science. And I don't believe science is free. If it was free, just make it all patentless. Create a society that embraces a culture of patentless invention. Allow people to rip each other the fuck off. Steal each other's ideas. Make manufacturing as cheap as shit and as accessible as possible to the inventors. You'd have every fucking teenager making being the next Tesla. It's insane. Tesla struggled for resources, struggled for, well, he didn't struggle once he got them, but that was back then. You know, you can make a Tesla coil whatever size you want. You can order one off eBay. It's like the technology is advanced. We have the geniuses from the past, apparently. Why would then that not be possible? Why would it not be possible to go and take all of Tesla's work and give it to every 14-year-old in the fucking country? If it was a patentless society for the good of the people. Oh, man. Then I start to think, oh, you know, this science shit, we're just in it to win. Not in it to, oh, but I've got the patent. Yeah, but that invention will heal the fucking world. But yeah, I've got the patent. It doesn't make sense to human nature. Humans are nature. Humans are part of the universe. We've created this thing that's very separate from human beings, and it's questionable. How real is it? So I adopt a spiritual, honest perspective that we're being lied to by ourselves if need be. I don't understand society, I don't understand the people, I don't understand applied consciousness in this world. That's what I don't understand. It's like, if we don't know, then we should ask, yeah? So nobody asks anymore. That's what I observe. On a spiritual level, on a societal level, on a truth-based level. Even my hippie friends from Brighton, what I see on Facebook is just like people growing up to the world rather than keeping the truth of whatever ideals we once had. Not to have ideals, but because we're human and they make sense in this world. And once you have them as an ideal, you can't really face asking the question, well, why are we doing what we're doing? How do I live in what we're doing when this is what makes sense, or something in this direction? I think I might have to make more of these videos where I'm just taking my time. It's a very healing thing for myself because socialising has always been pressured environment. I might call it that Might do a few therapy sessions over the next 2 days, overload everybody, with just me taking my time to be very slow and speak whatever comes to mind whenever. Remove any pressure I've got in terms of ego and speaking, and where I'm having to take time out from any idea of completing the boat. It makes sense to do that as well. So that's what I'm going to do. And by itself, an action plan is created of a way forward that will help me help my life. And I wasn't actively thinking about it. I don't do well with anxiety. Anxiety, I see it as the polarized perception of depression. But depression is a problem in itself. So what you do if you can't be anxious and you can't be depressed is to be honest about the depression. This is my generalized thinking on depression in the first place. Express the emotion, at least for 1 second, just to connect with it and say, shit, this is the emotional state I'm dealing with, okay. And in an instant, you get the perception of what's needed to keep life proactive in that place. It's like if you experience sheer terror, you know you've got to be looking somewhere towards bliss to balance things out. And I mean, even if it's for a second, you know, if you're heading in that direction, the balance is happening, and you constantly replot and readjust. But you're like in the immediate, right? Fuck terror, I'm plotting for bliss. Then you can start allowing that energy to come into your life and picking your life up appropriately, seeing what's dragging you back. And then, believe me, if you're in depression, you don't want to be too far away from truth. You don't want to be too much in the way of anxiety, because on an energetic level, from my perspective, it's the most soothing thing for the situation. It has its possibilities to really destroy lives and minds, but as long as you see it at that level and you realise it can get too much, to be like, right, this is the situation, it's unbelievably depressing, it's soul destroying, blah blah blah. I don't know how I can carry on. Okay, well, what do I need? What's been asked of me? What feelings do I have coming up to this predicament? Alright, it's depressing, but what are the other characteristics? Oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it's the other. It makes me slightly angry, it makes me up, it makes me this, it makes me that. And you just work with the problem, I guess. Or you pick something positive and you work on that just to keep you focused. And you're always aware of where you're at, you're not lying to yourself. So the depression is always with you. As long as you're focused and honest and live a clean, healthy life, then anything you do is really going to be proactive. And that's it. Chill out, rest then. But anxiety just rips me to bits. It's like positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Yeah, but why are we positive and negative? because we're bouncing around depression. Anyway, I have no more much more really to say. I'm gonna end the live stream now. It has helped somewhat. I think applying what I came up with then, just to remove the ego from my life and put myself there on live stream to say, this is the speed I need to live at, and I can define that speed by the tone and speed and almost want to say veracity, but it's like the amount of life I feel I have to force into my voice and my expression, and there's nothing. There shouldn't be any expression, any emotion put across. What's the need? I might start that in a little bit. So thank you for listening, anybody that's stuck around for 48 minutes.